2019. The top left-hand side on Kairos Junction for map number 1 of this Best of 5 series, the pink Protoss player is Zest. Up against the red Protoss to the bottom right-hand side from Gosu Crew, we have got Classic. So again, this is our last series of the day. Let's hope for a good one. PvP in Korea has generally been extremely aggressive as of late, the last few months. I'm excited to see what comes up here as we get this underway and what the players are going to bring out for us on the beautiful Kairos Junction. Probe heading in towards the upper left-hand side to see what's going to go on. As we see a couple of gates finishing up on each side, of course, and that's what we're going to be expecting to see as the standard opening throughout this series. The 2 gates from both of the players and into the cybernetics core. Now from there is a lot of choices, but you generally do just do this because it's what you need to stay safe, it's what you need to stay good, stay alive, and so on and so forth. So 2 gates apiece, exactly as expected. You can tech up from there as we get this going. Probe taking a little bit of damage there, Classic, because that's chasing down the other probe at the moment. As you see, the gateway is going to be finishing up. And again, as the cyber cores finish especially, what are the choices going to be? We've been seeing a lot of Stalker Sentry openings lately, like what Zest is doing here. The Sentry gives you that hallucination across the map, so you can actually get fairly early scouting information, and you can pick up a pretty good amount of info there pretty early on. The double Stalker from Classic may suggest something a bit more aggressive. Zest will block this entrance with a pylon, so Classic wanted to come down to the low ground and expand. Well, he has to kill this pylon off first. But also, the pylon here, it kind of just lets you know what the units are as well. So you see the double Stalker coming up. As we see now, 2 Adepts as a follow-up, so it is very aggressive out of Classic, straight into a Stargate as well. But Zest is going to drop a 3rd gateway, so he's also going to play hyper-aggressively with a big old push coming in. No robo facility and robo prism behind it. Classic gets his probe back home. He's got a probe on the low ground like he wants to expand, but for 3rd gate, it'd be a very weird expansion, because obviously you can't really afford all of your unit production that you need to be aggressive. And as we see, 2 Stalkers versus 3 and a Sentry goes the way of Zest, of course. Defender will take this one. So there's 2 Stalkers of Classic backing away. The 2 Adepts going to loop around and try and make their way in, but those are 2 units that are not going to be around to defend this attack of Zest, who will expand still. I am absolutely mind-boggled by this expansion. It's just not something, I don't think I've ever seen someone go 3 gates like this and then expand. In PvP, it's definitely not the kind of go-to or the regular. It's obviously a very safe way of expanding with the chance to put on a lot of pressure. The Adepts will see that expansion, so he does see this. So we're going to be seeing the shield battery on the way down. This actually will force units to be set up at home to be able to deal with it. As we see the Adepts actually going to recall though, maybe realizing he needs some units at home here as well. The Oracle came out and took a couple pokes from some Stalkers, so already taking some damage there. As we're going to be seeing the extra units warping in. And again, 3 Stalkers warping in at a time. There's quite a lot of firepower now, so again, those extra Adepts can go a long way as Zest will start poking forwards. And that Nexus already in a little bit of trouble here. And as Zest just in and out. Has his own expansion again behind this, which again, I guess it just means it's more transitionable for Zest. Doesn't have as much power on the push. Warps in 2 more sentries, looking for the force fields to really split this army up. And that is going to be one of Zest's advantages, but has to place those force fields as well. Otherwise, we'll be in some trouble. Oracles are very important here now as well also. They can actually put out quite a lot of damage, but easily targeted. Good first 2 force fields will pick off 3 units pretty much for free. Will turn and get rid of, oh, not quite 1 Oracle, 1 HP survive. That's really nice because it gets back to the high ground shield battery to get healed up. There are 2 shield batteries in range of the units that are in this position, and because of that, it's difficult for Zest to really break through. Neither player making probes right now, both of them just sat 24-ish workers. So a few Stalkers coming in, get it back and forth here. Next is still taking quite a bit of damage. There's going to be seeing an Oracle, takes a shot as well. Force field there, blocks the Stalkers in. And that's obviously away from the shield battery, so it's very important. Use the Oracles to scare the army off and buy some time for the Stalkers to get away. So only one Stalker went down in the end, but this Nexus is getting lower and lower. So you're getting very close to the point where you just kind of have to commit to this as Classic if you want to save. But the force fields again from Zest are so good, really dictating where Classic can and cannot be. And now Classic's army actually just starting to drop down. The Oracle's out of energy, not able to add anything else in play, and Zest knows it, so he doesn't bother himself with him for a little while. He'll turn and get the kill while he can, though, to make sure it doesn't come back into play. And across the map there is an Oracle, which only gets 2 pros because the shield battery bought time for Warpins, and Zest can pick up game 1 of this best of 5. To the bottom right side, our pink Protoss. This is our boy Zest, who is up 1-0 in the series. Top left-hand side, the red Protoss player, we have got Classic. Awesome. Again, good to see you all today. As we get set up into this gateway, dropping down in the main, and the probe of Zest starting to come in from the bottom side up through to the top. So, looking for a little bit of an early game scout, much earlier than Classic. Is going to be arriving just as Classic's probe is leaving, actually. So, Zest with a little bit of an earlier scout here. Maybe wants something, kind of, some info to make his decision early in the game. As, I mean, again, 2 gates apiece so far. Not too crazy. It is Parasite, which is a bit of a larger map, a bit of a longer map. As our probe comes in, and it's just going to try and steal some minerals, try and block the probes from double stacking on their mining. Just being a bit of a nuisance at the moment. Again, Cybercore coming in on each side of the map here. Pylons dropping down from each player as well, as this will come up the left-hand side. And the Provo Classic is taking a little bit of a nibble or two, taking some damage. Zest just continue to chase it down. There's that second gateway finishing up from Zest, so does have access through to the 2 Adept, so completely changes it up from his last build, which was Stalker Sentry, which is one of the more defensive openings, really. One of the more, like, let's see what you're doing and kind of go from there. Well, we see the Stalker Sentry on the way up from Classic. He kind of takes a bit of a turnaround as well from 2 Stalkers and 2 Adepts. Zest will just end up leaving here just as the Stargate drops down. We're going to be seeing Stargate versus a proxied Stargate. So we'll see what Zest can do with this. We'll see if the players go Oracles or Phoenix. I mean, Phoenix from Zest would be very weird considering it is proxied. And it means that we're not going to get into that typical Phoenix versus Phoenix war in the PvP. Because, again, with Zest proxied Stargate, well, Classic going to find it as well. I mean, there's just no real opportunity here to kind of justify that, as we're going to be seeing the probe getting pushed away to the side there by the Stalker. 2 more Stalkers going to be finishing up. Sentry just going to be sitting back in the main. There's the 2 Adepts of Zest will shade on forwards, but there's already a pylon up here to block a shield battery even to block that off, and the Adepts will not be able to gain access. So Zest so far being denied. He will start up a Phoenix, knowing that he's being scouted. It's going to become Phoenix versus Phoenix. But I mean, how do you just can't keep up the Phoenix versus Phoenix wars with a proxied Stargate. Like, there's just no way that is going to work out over time, I don't think, as the Phoenix is going to fire on each other right away. They both disengage. Zest will start a Twilight Council behind this. So Dark Shrine will be his follow-up, looking for the kind of the shock factor, catching Classic a bit off guard as he tries to force out a bunch of Phoenix here. 2 Adepts will shade up again, but the shield battery is once more in position. He will commit for the Sentry, and then recalls out. Oh, I love that move. What a play by Zest. Commits in with the shade, kills a Sentry, and recalls out of there. Loses nothing to kill a Sentry, an expensive unit. Robot Facility will drop down from Classic, who builds an Oracle, interestingly enough. That's probably because he sees the fact that Zest is not building any more Phoenix now. So this pylon will go down. The Oracle could do a lot in terms of damage. Again, Dark Shrine about halfway done. Oracle can also be used for Revelation if detection is needed too. Actually, has the first Oracle out, and a second Oracle on the way as well. So Classic making use of that Stargate, while Zest hasn't really been able to do anything with his Stargate here just yet. Nexus finished in the natural. As again, the Oracle and the Phoenix going to move in towards the main base. Center the main they go. Going to be starting to pick their way through a few of these probes. So a few probes already going down. 6, 7 workers killed off here now. That's 8, that's 9. Oh man, Zest is in trouble. 9 workers dead. I mean, it's only going to get worse. The second Oracle doesn't even come across the map yet, but the fact is DTs are just going to be unsuccessful. There's an observer on the way out, so they're going to do very minimal damage here. They might even get shut down right away because the Oracle could revelate. Boom. Revelation down, and again, the Stalkers can chase those away. DTs do nothing from Zest. He's down 7 workers. And again, with extra Oracles coming up, it's just likely he'll get even more damage done. Picks off one of the 2 DTs before the recall away. Another Revelation, another dead DT. Zest getting absolutely destroyed in game number 2. Classic ties up the series just like that. Yeah, the winner goes to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice round of 24. The other will have to fly themselves out to play in the open bracket if they wish to do so. It's a hell of a difference. And now there's only 2 maps to be won by either of these guys to qualify them through. Top right side in the pink. This funky little build worked in game 1, but a failed proxy Stargate into failed DTs lost in game 2. This is Zest. Up against the red Protoss on the bottom left-hand side, we've got Gosu Cruise Classic. We set up here and get this game 3 underway. Looking to see what happens as we go into the PvP. Couple gates coming down on each side of the map. Once again, as expected so far, and we have the first few moments just to sit back, relax, and wait to see what exactly the choices are going to be. Zest again opts for the earlier Probe Scout than Classic, so it's again a little bit intriguing. It's a little bit interesting, gotta say. As that probe Zest comes over, and we'll do a little bit of nibbling. As you see that probe from Classic coming in and having a little bit of a nibble as well. So a little bit of a fight between the 2 of them. And as you are going to be seeing the Cybernetics core about to finish up here from Classic. So Cybercore finishing, the 2 Stalkers on the way out, and a Stalker Sentry again from Zest. So these guys changing up their first units every game so far. And it's the second time you've seen Sentry Zest and Double Stalker from each of the players. It's just a little bit of a different way of doing it, which is always a lot of fun to kind of follow. And to see what kind of comes up next. I mean, is one of the players going to get aggressive again? What exactly is the plan going to be? So it's going to be seeing the a couple probes heading back home, and Classic does drop the Stargate while we'll see a Nexus coming down from Zest. So Zest opting for a Nexus here in the early stages. And again, now going into a couple Stalkers of his own, so he should have the gateways to kind of, or the units to defend here early on. That shouldn't really be much of the problem. I'm also just intrigued to see kind of what the follow-up's going to be looking like. Obviously, we see that Sentry being put to use as well. Hallucinated Phoenix coming in to, again, see just what is going on. Get some good information as the Oracle on the way up. And that's going to be Classic's first opportunity to really deal some damage in this game as well. Two Stargates from Zest, so he's going to try and counter the Stargate with double Stargates. I kind of like it. It's a bit different, sure, but it works. It definitely works. And yeah, it should be pretty intriguing here as we get this underway. The thing is, though, I mean, it was only single Stargate and an Oracle out of Classic, so he hasn't exactly committed overly much to this right away either, which is also worth keeping in mind, that it's not like he has like a whole bunch of Phoenix of his own, and that makes this even more interesting, I think, because then he has to kind of, you know, then the double Phoenix have to really overwhelm. This Classic is beginning to push forwards here. So Classic pressing in. To see what the upcoming opportunity will bring. Obviously, just a few Stalkers to try and push in towards the natural expansion. So, pressing in over there. The units currently from Zest, I mean, building up that Phoenix count. And we are just going to be seeing the pullback from Classic. He's not going to commit through, so in the end, all good. In the end, all good. And Blink getting started. We're going to be seeing those Phoenix popping out. They're going to be gathering up on the expansion here just overhead. You see that probe from Classic going to be coming down to the bottom, so yeah, so far we're going to be waiting to see kind of these Phoenix really coming into play. There's only 4 of them though, so Zest didn't even make that many. So really interested to see if that was worth the kind of commitment to a second Stargate. Finds a probe so the Phoenix are revealed. Very funky style so far. Classic still has the Oracle up as well, by the way. Hasn't actually really made much use of it. Never got overly aggressive, was never sure if he could do that or whether he was going to end up in trouble. There's the Forge on the Robo facility dropping down from Zest back in the main. Obviously just teching up now. There is Blink coming through from Classic. That's his tech choice compared to the continued Phoenix production from Zest. So Blink's going to be pretty good here because it can chase those Phoenix away. And you can chase those down very easily by blinking on after them. So that's going to be rather, rather crucial to kind of keep in mind. You see +1 attack upgrade being chrono boosted up on this Forge as well. So also chrono boosting that out. So Twilight Council will drop down, and the Immortal going to be popping out in a moment or so as well. Pylon gets taken down. And again, these Phoenix will want to move in towards the main. Perhaps there's a few Stalkers still there. I mean, they're kind of stuck, these Phoenix, in terms of where they can go. Oh, a couple of probes accidentally following some Stalkers. Is that costing Catholic some gas? No, he's got that fixed. Just the probes are still part of his army hotkey, and he hasn't realized it yet, apparently. Realizes it now and just fixes that up, hopefully. Well, hopefully, so you can get away without Blink early on here, Zest, as long as you just start up Immortals, and the Immortals will be very good and stable against that Blink. And you can just go straight into charge as a follow-up. Blink is much more of an early to mid-game kind of well, something more so than anything else. Late game, you don't really build up too many Stalkers unless you go for like a Disruptor style, but it looks as though neither of these guys want to go Disruptors. It looks as though they both want to go in towards the Charge Shots, the Immortals, and the Archons. There's that Oracle from the Classic just hanging out overhead. Another Gateway finishing up, and we do see the +1 attack upgrade being chrono boosted out on the Forge. So that's going to be finishing in just a few moments. Stalkers will blink in after those Phoenix, which escape all the way up to the top left-hand side of the map. We do have that probe ready to drop down a third Nexus here as well. So Classic going to keep on expanding. That's the War Prism coming up from Classic now as well in the main base. Archon currently just morphing in here from Zest, so that's going to be done in a moment or two. A couple of extra Zealots warping in as well. And again, +2 attack is also dropping down here from our boy Zest. So just getting it towards that. Both the players equal on upgrades, and well, heading in towards a mid-game PvP with the players even in position means it's something you don't see all the time anymore. It really is. Archon going to morph and join the rest of this army as the Stalkers of Classic continue to come along through the south. Some Zealots and a couple of Archons just setting up. More Warpins getting set to go, and again the Stalkers ready to jump on a few of those units. Perhaps not just going to end up blinking away. There's going to be a Des Zealot as the Phoenix lift up right there. Again, that third Nexus about to complete. And a couple more Zealots warping in, and just going to be seeing Classic's army is positioned aggressively. Never bothered with Immortal production. He's playing with a Robo, but no Immortals, just pure Archons. So that's a style that we've seen now and again. He will be looking to attack with +2, but how do you attack into this? Well, I mean, the Phoenix from Zest will not be super useful because there's no Immortals to lift up. They would usually be the key units to try and grab in this, I feel. Nice couple of Blinks gets rid of a couple of Phoenix anyways, so well, never mind what they're good or not against. If they're not around at all, doesn't really matter. There's just so many Zealots here. The Stalkers might want to blink back to let the Zealots into the front. And they'll blink back pretty quickly. They take a few shots. And Zealots charging through. The Archons are absolutely crucial here because the Archons do so much of the splash to keep this alive. Or Prism Micro a little bit more fluid from Zest because he has his Prism not in warp-in mode. Whereas, obviously, you need the in warp-in mode from Classic to reinforce. Zest can just warp in on the right side. He is going to have a couple of Immortals left over as he pulls the probes in to help out with this. He kills off the Prism of his opponent as well. One Archon left. He loses 15 probes, but he's going to win the fight. Micron probes up and down Stalkers as well. He's going to win the fight, and he will have a slight army advantage out of it, but 16 workers down. It seems like Classic has done enough here. I didn't really know if he needed to pull those workers in. I felt as though it would have just been an even trade out. Obviously, Zest really thought he did, and I kind of liked the time when he brought those workers in because there was no Archons up, at least to just splash them down. But then there was one more Archon that kind of showed up, maybe out of the Prism or something. So maybe it wasn't quite as expected here. Well, Zest probably thinks, well, if anything, I've won that fight, so I need to try and counterattack now because I've obviously lost workers, and that's obviously going to put me behind in that regard. So let's go across and, again, try and make something happen with this. So here we go. So we have got the units in a bit of a concave here, though, from Classic, and with extra warp-ins coming in, I mean, honestly, it doesn't feel as though Zest has much of an opportunity. Shield battery is good. Well, maybe. I guess the big thing for Zest is he does have double Immortal, double Archon. Maybe I'm speaking way too soon here, because actually the tech units are really showing their value. Oh my god. This was so different to what I thought this would look like. Those probes actually coming in, and, well, this one Archon is super low as well, but it doesn't quite go down. Still being lifted up. Another Immortal showing up here, and Classic might still just about hold. He's lost 11 probes of his own. Zest is warping in another couple of Zealots. Will send those forwards again. Drops his Immortals down. Still trying to get some trade-offs. Zest will still end up 6 workers down. Classic holds, but it's a lot closer than I thought. I really just thought with the shield battery in the concave it was going to be too much, but again, the extra couple of tech-based units, the Immortals / Archons, those really went a distance for Zest there. But now 2 Archons up from Classic, and I think this attack is well and truly over. Dropping down, we'll get another probe or 2. As those units, Stalker blinks in for the Prism. Obviously doesn't get it, it's only 1 Stalker at the moment, but the Prism is low, so it's not like it's in a super comfortable place. Archon's going to come around the back side to try and stop these Immortals from being too much of a nuisance. They've already unpowered the Robo and a few gateways, though. And there's going to be another pylon in the corner. Potentially picked off. Drops down on the low ground and will be able to still get the pylon. Gets the Stalker as well. I mean, there's more pylons to pick off, but that Prism is super low now, so you have to be really careful about where you keep it. If Blink Stalker's on the map, you're just like a wrong moment away from losing that, and then you lose 2 Immortals, and maybe that gives Classic the opening to attack across the map once again. So 33 to 35 workers. The free base of Classic starting to resaturate. At least Zest says actually Classic is not making workers at all. He's making units and only units. Well, how about that? He's going to take a bit of an army supply lead because of it as the pylon goes down again. And killing these pylons is nice and all, but Classic is nowhere near being supply blocked, so it's damage that doesn't really affect Classic for the moment. Might affect him later on in the game if this game goes on long enough, but obviously a little while from that as Zest will invest in a shield battery. I mean, he's at this point where Zest is about equal on army supply, and he has many more workers because, again, Classic is not building probes here. His plan is to end the game with the army that he has, 1 more counter attack. But I think realistically Zest should have enough to deal with this. And as he has enough to deal with this, well, let's see, because the Immortals are still looking as though they might be out of position. Going for another pylon here. So picks that off as well. Again, I mean, losing the pylons is not exactly a huge issue right now. As you see the army going across the map. Again, these Immortals are out of location, right? So they're not part of the defense. Obviously, they can maybe get some probe kills and so on. They are still forcing warp-ins over here, so credit where it's due. It's still dealing some damage, and Classic is still distracted to the point where he doesn't go across the map. Now the recall does come in, and the Immortals make it home. If the Immortals making it back home, they're going to be able to sit here and they're going to be able to be part of the defense now. I think Zest realized there's no saturation on the 3rd base. And if there's no saturation on the 3rd, then you definitely don't have the workers that he does. So Zest realizing, okay, well, you've got to be attacking me then. So good information gained from Zest. It's a good read. And well, now it's just down to the defense. Again, Classic comes in with a free army supply advantage. Shield batteries here from Zest, though. And he's got a good amount of Archons. Obviously, Archons super important for splashing down those Zealots, like we've mentioned before. I feel like the Zealots of Zest struggle to get into the fight here initially. But yeah, with the shield batteries helping out a little bit, it's going to be overwhelming in the end. And the Archons are just going to absolutely win out. And Zest has way more shields left on his Archons than Classic does. GG is called, and Zest is back into the lead of this PvP. Disconnect. That was what we were waiting for. Alright, to the bottom left-hand side, our pink Protoss player. This, my friends, is Zest, up 2-1 in this best of 5 series. Top right-hand side, the blue Protoss from Gosu Crew is Classic. Zest is one map away from qualifying here into the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. What a fantastic time we've had today. Some great matches throughout the day, honestly. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying as well. And it comes down to this right now. Classic and Zest. Game number 4 of this best of 5. Classic needs to win 2 in a row to qualify for Katowice. Third fourth place last year. Not fourth place last year. Runner-up last year. He beat Cyril in the round of 4, of course. Sorry, got myself mixed up there. He's fourth place, third place in the WSG tournament about 2 weeks later. But yeah, of course, he knocked Cyril out of the semi-finals and finished in the finals. Second place, 0-4 against Rogue in those finals, as he just got picked apart in the PvZ. Can people qualify for IEM after the qualifiers are done? Yes, there is an open bracket, which usually involves 76 players, and the top 12 advance to join the 24-player group stages. This probe being chased around up on the top, as we're going to be seeing that probe of Zest trying to get away. Warp gate getting started up as we see a Stalker and a Sentry on the way down right now. We're going to be seeing that pylon of Classic getting placed in as well. So getting that pylon into place. And Stargate going to be on the way up in the main as you see a probe having a little bit of a nibble trying to break out the early game units. Nothing too ridiculous. Stalker Sentry apiece, so actually maybe the most regular opening we'll see between the two of them. Nexus drops down in the natural. Nexus coming down on the bottom side as well. We're just going to be seeing the Sentries dropping those hallucinations. These guys, well, we're mirroring each other for a while. The biggest difference, I guess, is the Stargate now from Classic and the later expand. Because of it, Zest yet to put down a tech choice. Probably won't be a Stargate this late on here, as an Oracle is actually going to be cancelled for the Phoenix, because the hallucinated Phoenix comes in. So, a little bit unfortunate, because Classic comes in, he'll see there's no Stargate of his opponent. And Phoenix, well, the Oracle would have done just fine. And he cancels the Phoenix and builds an Oracle. But then Zest comes back in and sees the Oracle. So, oh my god, Zest getting all of the information right now. Damn. And you know what? Zest does throw down double Stargate. Well, this is what he did in that last game, and we never really saw the double Stargate coming through to much. I'm interested to see him doing it again, because again, it's just that single Oracle. So is he really just going to use double Stargate to build 4 Phoenix? Is that the plan? Oh my god, double Oracle from Classic. Obviously, he doesn't have the scouting anymore. The hallucination faded away. So he doesn't have the scouting to know it's going to be double Stargate Phoenix, so those Oracles shouldn't really be able to do much at all. And that's going to make this real tough here. Like, real tough. I guess we'll see in a few moments. 2 Phoenix being chrono boosted out. The first Oracle is waiting, probably for Oracle number 2 at the same time. Robo facility dropping down. Obviously, again, Zest Tech will be occupied. Building a lot of Phoenix like this is not cheap at all, so he'll take those double gas on the natural. Zest is already a couple of workers ahead as well. Remember, he was on a slightly faster expansion, as the Phoenix will find the Oracle. Oh my god. And you know what? An Oracle doesn't outrun a Phoenix. I don't know. I mean, in a way, turning around was not the right decision, but also he wouldn't have done any damage if he got over here anyways, so there's no winning. As the second Oracle is out of position. 2 Adepts get 2 probes, so it's something on the natural expansion at least. Twilight Council dropping down from Classic is, again, Zest just 4 Phoenix. I really struggle to believe that double Stargate is worth the investment to just build 4 Phoenix. So we're going to see the Phoenix moving across, going to come in and lift up a few of these probes, and I mean, I guess this is where the Phoenix will do damage. I don't doubt that 4 Phoenix are a good thing to have and they'll deal damage. I'm just wondering, is the double Stargate worthwhile to get 4 Phoenix up? It's an interesting choice, but yet he's gone it for 2 games in a row, and it worked out for him in the last game. Although I don't know how much the double Stargate choice really affected how things went. I guess it's important to say that he stayed alive while he went for this last time around. We've seen that blink starting up, the +1 attack coming through in the Forge as well. And we are going to be seeing a few Phoenix are going to come over towards the upper right-hand side. They're going to want to come in, pick up a few of those probes. On the bottom left, the Adepts have made it into the main. Only 1 remaining on the shield battery will then stop any further kills. With the Phoenix getting some damage done, it's keeping the worker counts pretty even actually, although you probably want to take a little worker lead here and there with the Phoenix that you've made. So they are kind of designed to harass. So that's going straight into +1, straight into charge. Templar Archive started up as well. And he gets an Immortal Chrono boosting too, with the Templar Archives finishing. Meanwhile, I mean, Classic is still just going into Blink. So Classic going into Blink and adding on extra gateways, but he's going into Blink against an Immortal Lock on charge bot setup. I just feel like this Blink is so late. It's going to be finishing at 7 minutes and later. You know, 7 minutes plus a few seconds. That's so late to have Blink up. I mean, how much how much damage are you really going to do with it? I don't really feel like very much. Oracle gets recalled back home, wasn't able to find anything. And Zest will just drop down a 3rd Nexus. Phoenix in the main, deflected by Stalkers. I mean, okay, sure, the Stalkers are good at deflecting, but I think this has got to be something of a larger attack, right? I guess we'll see. Robo Facility and Temple Archives now on the way up from Classic as well. There's a few extra gateways still just coming on into play. And that charge finishing up so much faster for Zest here, but probably, well, is he going to take a fight to maybe make a difference there? He might, because he's pushing across the map. Or Prism coming over as well. This is where things get interesting, because Blink may not have much to kind of play a part in this. He's going to have charge against no charge. His opponent, Classic, will have invested Chrono and money into +2 attack. That's money and Chrono that doesn't come into defending this attack right here and now. Checks the right side, no 3rd base. He can definitely cancel the 3rd base on the left. There are not units here to defend this right now from Classic. He'll just get a pylon instead and continues to the right. Zest, with a hallucination, will see the 3rd base on the left-hand side, so sees that now. But man, you tell you what, he's found so many pylons of Classic here. Classic is massively supply blocked. Using all of these pylons out the front seems like a great idea for map control until you can't actually keep them alive anymore. Oh man, Zest. This is looking very good for Zest here. I don't know why I keep saying our boy Zest. But into the main base, and he gets 7, 8 line workers as well. I mean, he backs away, which I don't mind all that much either, because he already did good damage. He didn't dive on the army right away, so his advantages were going to start disappearing a little bit. And this Phoenix are even going to make it out alive, as the Stalkers will not be able to blink in to catch them. Classic, everything just seems a bit disjointed from him right now. He just doesn't quite seem to have the answers that he needs. It's a little painful for him at the moment. It's not going great. As we see 2 High Templar going to finish up. +2 attack coming in on the Forge. And another Archon setting up from Zest now between the natural and the 3rd. Here come these units down in towards the 3rd base here. And you'll see the Nexus taking some damage. Zealots coming around, and well, this is going to turn into a fight, but I'm not sure if Classic should be the one fighting. I get that he's got +2 attack over nothing, but Zest has so many more tech-heavy units. I love it as well. Zest doesn't chase down the ramp. He's happy to sit up here. And Zest feels like he's just moments away from perhaps being able to qualify to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. And as we now have 2 more Zealots warping in from Classic, he is still not building probes to saturate a 3rd base. So he's 9 workers down, and he is looking to win the game here. Feels brutal though. I mean, an Oracle looking around just sets up a stasis ward. Best thing you can do, because the shield battery will just soak up the energy otherwise. Phoenix kill the Oracle, only 1 probe goes down then. The probe's getting back to mining, it seems. Oh, miss rally though. That could be a big deal. But let's not worry about that right now. Let's worry about this. Now the +2 advantage of Classic has disappeared, and Zest is going to clean up all of those Archons. And then, okay, maybe the Sorks can blink away and save themselves, but well, then they're going to see the Phoenix are going to sacrifice themselves in just to do a little bit of lifting to trap a few of those Stalkers also. Archon's going to flounder their way down the ramp. It's a bit clunky. It's a bit messy. Those probes still aren't mining over here, and that is one issue, but it doesn't matter because Zest will take game 4, and he will